11 years have lapsed, and the sea has kept its secret tightly until now. Out of the depths, a bizarre sonar pulse has been reported, and with this, rumors of a find too eerie to be dismissed have begun circulating. At the heart of this discovery is Dr. Vincent Line, a researcher who says he has discovered a mark on the ocean floor unlike any natural formation. Is this the resting place of MH370 or the start of an even greater enigma? The enigma of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 has haunted like a spectre the contemporary age of aviation, one of the greatest unsolved tragedies of the modern era. Almost 11 years have passed since the Boeing 777 disappeared into thin air, leaving behind heartbroken families, questions unanswered, and a silence that only seemed to weigh more heavily with each passing year. But now, after all this time, this silence could finally be giving way to something truly remarkable, a ping from the bottom of the Indian Ocean. There have been accounts of a sonar anomaly, something out of the ordinary picked up by Ocean Infinity's armada of autonomous underwater robots. These are no ordinary machines. They are among the most sophisticated on the planet, with deep-sea scanning technology that is intended to penetrate thousands of meters beneath the surface, to regions where light never penetrates and where pressure would crush a human submarine in seconds. For decades, that kind of technology had been nothing more than a pipe dream, but now it's the cutting edge of discovery. And this time, their search produced something new, something that could change everything we think about MH370's fate. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. And at the center of it all is Dr. Vincent Line, who was once a researcher with the University of Tasmania. For several years, he has been researching the disappearance with a focus that has isolated him. While many others used rumors and hypotheses, Line devoted himself to hard facts, satellite data, drift simulation, and ocean floor terrain mapping. It was during the course of this research that he noticed something out of the ordinary, an isolated bright pixel in a global terrain model. To everyone else, it would have appeared as nothing more than rumble in the data, an aberration of faulty readings, but to Line, it was not so. That bright speck indicated a major anomaly, one that would be commensurate with the location of a resting Boeing 777. The discovery reverberated like a trumpet, a hypothesis too compelling to be dismissed. This, however, was not the initial time expectations had been elevated. In the months since MH370 went missing, sonar pings, drifting trash, and changing theories have arisen and disappeared. Each find created waves of hope, only to come crashing down upon examination, leaving families devastated all over again. This anomaly was different, however, due to how closely it matched revised satellite tracking data and drift calculations of confirmed MH370 wreckage that had washed up on faraway beaches. Unlike previous assertions, this one better fitted into the advanced science, aligning with several lines of evidence. Sonar anomaly analysts saw its acoustic signature, the manner in which sound waves reflected off during the sweep, was unlike normal seabed structures. Natural rock, ridges, and silt reflect sonar waves otherwise, but this anomaly reflected them with acuteness that suggested metallic debris, something man-made. If it is true, then the anomaly might be the mangled wreckage of MH370 itself. For the families of the 239 who vanished on that March evening in 2014, the fresh news kindled a guarded optimism. All previous leads had been an agonizing cycle of hope followed by despair. But this time there was a sense that something was different. Investigators, aviation specialists, and families are waiting with bated breath, hoping this may be the revelation that finally shatters the silence, that will provide closure after over a decade of anguish. Dr. Line himself has long put forward an unconventional theory as to what actually transpired that evening. He is convinced MH370 did not disappear due to chance accident or weather, but due to purposeful action. To him, Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah could have deliberately steered the plane to one of the most distant points in the Indian Ocean, somewhere so vast and hostile that recovery would always be virtually impossible. And now with the anomaly found, Line indicates what appears to be an impact crater, a scar gouged deep into the ocean floor, as if some enormous object had crashed with unimaginable power. He maintains that this is no natural formation, no aberration of nature, but the horrific resting place of the jetliner. The consequences are staggering. If Line is correct, after years of futile searching, the truth might at last be in sight. But, if established, his theory would make the tragedy even more profound. It would imply that the disaster wasn't just a matter of luck but a deliberate act, revising the way the world recalls the tragedy. And as all eyes have turned toward the sonar signal, people wonder how it was possible to locate something so concealed when all the previous searches yielded nothing. The solution is technology itself, in the advent of the Armada 7806, a Norwegian ship produced in 2023. 80 meters in length, the vessel is a floating command center, constructed to withstand the roughest seas and be the platform for the most sophisticated underwater drones ever developed. These autonomous underwater vehicles, built by Kongsberg, are 6 meters long and can dive 6,000 meters, much deeper than any manned submarine can endure. They move through dark water silently for 100 hours continuously, scouring vast lengths of seabed with their intense sonar suites. They carry remarkable tools. Side-scan sonar to sweep wide areas of the floor. Synthetic aperture sonar to obtain high-resolution images so clear they depict centimeter-scale features. Multi-beam sonar to develop complete 3D topographic maps of trenches, ridges, and impact craters. And sub-bottom profilers that can look beneath layers of sediment, capable of detecting wreckage hidden from view. All together, constructing a layered image of the deep ocean not possible before. Data gathered from such drones are collated, combined, and examined in the Armada 7806, forming composite images of the seabed that become more defined with each pass. Upon detecting anomalies, the drones revisit, armed with cameras and lights to look for visual confirmation. This technology has already been proven by the company Ocean Infinity. It found the Argentine submarine ARA San Juan, missing with 44 crew members, in 2017 at a depth of almost 900 meters. On another mission, it discovered a lost U.S. Navy ship since World War II. With each find, it showed that regardless of how inhospitable the terrain, these machines could extend the frontiers of human searching. Now Ocean Infinity has shifted its focus back to MH370, with its most potent weaponry yet. In December 2024, the Malaysian government gave the green light for a new search, the most ambitious since the investigation's early days. The contract was novel, no fee if no find. Ocean Infinity would pay the costs themselves, with the possibility of $70 million if they found it. For the company, it was a possibility of prestige and history. For the families, it was an opportunity for closure. The search finally started in February 2025, focusing on a 15,000 square kilometer area west of Perth, Australia. The spot was not chosen at random. It was the intersection of satellite tracking arcs, debris drift analysis, and line sonar anomalies. It was a location with promise, a location where answers might now reside. The weather was harsh. The Indian Ocean is notorious for changing currents, unanticipated storms, and huge waves. Every expedition posed risks. But technology and timing were at last with the searchers. For weeks, the drones swooped ridge after ridge, trench after trench, creating an unprecedented panorama of the abyss. In April 2025, deteriorating weather brought work to a halt, but not an end. The halt was strategic, guarding machinery until tranquil seas returned. The information collected was staggering, each anomaly recorded, each map calibrated, anticipating the next step. The world watched. MH370 had long since transcended being a vanished plane. It represented a chilling weakness in contemporary flying, a reminder that even in the era of satellites and international networks, a flight carrying hundreds could disappear. Solving the mystery now would be more than closure, it would again instill faith that truth can be discovered, no matter how well hidden. But the wreckage itself will not solve the biggest question: why? What actually occurred that night? Theories stretch from here to there. Some propose the ghost flight hypothesis, in which a depressurization incident rendered everyone unconscious and the plane continued on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. This would account for the long, isolated flight into the Indian Ocean, but the intentional turns en route make it less plausible. Some people think that Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah intentionally took over, piloting the plane into oblivion as a calculated act of destruction. To support this are disturbing discoveries, including routes on his flight simulator at home mirroring MH370's last suspected route. Police never proved his motive, but the facts imply competent human control early on. Another speculation is that the aircraft was intentionally ditched, rather than crashed. Experts refer to pieces of debris with little shattering, consistent with a controlled water landing. Others still speak in hushed tones of hijacking, cyber attack, or even military interception, although there is little evidence for such theories. The absence of traditional tracking forced researchers to depend on satellite handshakes within Marsat satellites. The arcs provided a general shape but not a precise crash location. More recently, researchers have started to study weak signal propagation reporter, WHISPER, data, an amateur radio network that can pick up interference from overflying airplanes. Preliminary results, while contentious, indicate course improvements for MH370, offering new backing for search operations. The hunt for MH370 has already tested human boundaries. Over 120,000 square kilometers of ocean floor have been searched, at a cost of over $150 million. Crowdsourced efforts involved millions around the world in searching satellite imagery. Parts washed up on Réunion Island and African shores confirmed the fate of the plane but not its resting place. Official searches concluded in 2017, and Ocean Infinity's private 2018 expedition also did not succeed. But each attempt widened our understanding of the deep sea, mapping previously unmapped ecosystems and ridges. Today, with new technology and perseverance, the search has resumed. If wreckage is located, the world will not just have closure but answers. The black boxes, if found, may uncover whether the pilots were incapacitated, whether an unknown mechanical failure sealed the fate of the flight, or whether intentional action was taken. Aviation safety would be revolutionized. Tracking systems might be re-engineered so no aircraft can ever disappear again. Lawsuits and blame would ensue, governments confronting uncomfortable realities about their initial response to the disappearance. For the families, it would bring an end to limbo, the opportunity to finally lay their loved ones to rest and mourn with certainty. The day of MH370's discovery will be a day of mourning and discovery, a day when the world brings closure to one of its most enduring mysteries. The sea has kept its secret for 11 years, but maybe not forever. As the sonar pulses reverberate off the depths, they can be bringing the truth finally. The wreckage can rest there undisturbed, waiting to be discovered, waiting to speak its tale. And when discovered, the world will hear.